Nabi, thank you so much for coming on with me today. I think everyone's going to be really excited just to hear you. I know this was a long time coming too. I remember I had to spit out this idea a couple of months ago. And then the pandemic happened, and then like everything changed, everything.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for having me. Thanks for doing this, and obviously Happy New Year to you and your family, and the whole Pandas Karate crew.
So Nabi, I am holding the real book in my hand. We
That's
only
great.
ordered a couple of copies to sell at the studio, and they flew off the shelves like literally really quickly. I wish I ordered more, but people are ordering online. They're ordering on Amazon, on Barnes & Noble, and Books A Million, which is right now where they're offered. I want to go back to like the origins of us. I met you guys because of Callaloo, the book, which I'd love for you to share just a little bit of background about yourself, but also about the book, of how I originally found you.
So I've been doing illustration for a while, like way back when I wasn't getting paid for it and I was only getting in trouble, in school. But Callaloo was an idea that came to mind to do this like children's book about sort of like cultural heritage and things like that. My background is also like I'm a senior web developer by trade. I was doing that, during my day job and all the creative stuff kind of nights and weekends. And Callaloo was something that I really wanted to invest in because I wanted to do something for children, something that kind of like piques young minds and helps grow strong leaders in the future, that type of work. And then that's how I met you. I believe you and your wife, Susan's your wife. Yeah.
Yes.
So you and your wife saw it, and then you all requested an interview. And it's like you do sometimes, as somebody who owns his own dojo, who's obviously started this book, when you're the person behind it, sometimes it's a thankless task and you don't always get to know the appreciation that people have for your work. So it was really cool that you had reached out and wanted to talk about this. And I think we did an interview in my basement.
When I first came up with the concept of the book, I was like, man, I guess I gotta think about an illustrator, because the publisher that we work with was offering to find one and to use somebody on hand. But I was like, no, wait a second. I really like using local people. I like using people that, have a passion for this. And when I saw your work, I was just like, I don't even know if he's gonna say yes, but you were my first like pick. Like, let me just shoot it out, because Nabi, you got some celeb status now. I mean, you've been around the block, a couple times. So, I mean, you didn't have to say yes to me, but I'm just glad that you did. And like, I guess that brings me to my next question. What makes you choose these projects?
I think it was, from what I knew of you, obviously, like I got the sense that, you're genuine about what you do. Like you're not necessarily like you kind of put other people first in what you do. And then also like your willingness to just kind of be like, hey, this is what I know. Here's what I don't know. I need you to fill in the gaps. So just kind of like you already trusted me to do what I do.
So tell me about, I guess, some of the ideas behind some of these characters. I mean, I know I gave you, like you said, I gave you some rough idea of what I want. Like one of the things I definitely said was, yo, I need you to get my hair to come up.
Yeah. The hair is always the part where I feel like hair on characters is unique, And so I think if you can kind of find something within that also is true to the vision of it and also kind of stands out, then it's just something that you got something there.
One of my other requests I remember that I said, and I was adamant, is that I really wanted to find a book where I could find somebody that looks like me, but I want other kids to find themselves too, not just be one-sided. I want it to be multicultural. And I think this is also why I liked being with you, because I knew you were already all about that. Like whenever you draw or write, like this is one of the Spanish pages, which, sure, like I'm sure Mascot kind of was like, why put a Spanish page? But this is me. This is who I am.
Right.
And so like, I guess, tell me about your passion for that, for choosing these type of characters.
First 7 years of my life I spent on military bases. And so I lived in California, I lived in Turkey, I lived in Virginia, I lived in DC. before my dad got out of the military. And so I always grew up around a lot of different people. So for me, it's just kind of like, you know, normal, especially when you think about a school and you kind of told me what you were going for. And I was already like, all right, got it. My thing was, okay, like lots of people are going to be reading this book too. And I feel like, you know, everybody kind of wants to see them. Everybody identifies with the main character, you know, like they see some part of themselves in there, but then also just to know that they're also seen too was kind of what I wanted to go for. So I wanted to make sure there were, you know, different hues, different hairstyles, different hair colors, just as much as we could represent without it being oversaturated and not genuine to the story. Even that scene with the Spanish teacher, I think like, okay, it was like the ballpark was the words that had to go on the page, but then it was just like, okay, well, what would be inside of a Spanish class, right? There would be, you know, probably some words on the chalkboard, and and then like the thing about that page was trying to get your face right to be like, he's saying something that he knows is not quite right. But
Yeah.
and the teacher's like, yeah, you tried it, buddy, but that's not quite it. So I was just trying to get that facial expression right too.
I didn't consider that. You know, there's so much about illustration I don't know, but those are
Mm-hmm.
little subtleties that I think that really make the book amazing, and I think that's what people started to feel. One of the favorites that came out of the book, a lot of people bring up this scene, and
Mm-hmm.
that it has so much emotion. Can you kind of just give me the locker room breakdown of why or how did you come up with this scene? I mean, I understand the words kind of say it, but
Mm-hmm.
you tell a great story just with the pictures.
Your character was always kind of like left out in a lot of these scenes. He was kind of like the outlier and everything. And so I thought about what a locker room would be like where everybody else is in on the joke, but you're not, you know? So, and then you've always got like that one kid that's like, you know, the ringleader of everybody, you know? And so I kind of wanted to have that one kid kind of in the middle there, and everybody else is kind of like vibing off of that joke.
When I saw it, I felt like that's me. Like you drew exactly what was happening. I'm in the corner of the locker room. I'm seeing these guys, you know, vibing to to jokes, and I
Mm-hmm.
was the one left out. And I felt like, you know, this couldn't just happen to me. How many other kids possibly feel that same, have felt that same feeling?
I like to use mental models. So it's almost like an athlete, you know, like even if you liken it to like karate, even like, you know, you have to practice in order to get the move right. So it might take sometimes it might take you know, 8-12 hours of practice spread over, you know, 3 or 4 days, 2 or 4 days even. And then by the end of it, you got a groove going, and then you're like, okay, I'm starting to be in sync with this. You know, I'm starting to be in sync with this character. I'm starting to be in sync with this world now, and the style and this line work. So this is the scene that ended up being in the book, but
Right.
this is where that scene was originally. And I was just like, oh, this has got to change. Like, you
Wow.
know, so it's
Okay.
like, this is what it would have been. But
Yeah.
then I was just like, I could do better than that. Like, this book deserves a fuller scene than this. So, like, you know, I'll do something all the way through, and then I'll go back and just say, okay, well, let's change it. And then, you know, I'll create a file that's the alternate file. And then this one ends up working out better.
I already got people asking me, when's the part two coming out? I'm like, do you know how hard it was just for part one? Okay.
Right.
I don't
Right.
even know if there's a part two, but but thank you so much, Nabi, for being with me. And I look forward to working with you again, hopefully in the near future.